Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. My main man, Tyron A. Johnson, here. As always, got a great show for you today. The Knicks with a big win last night against the Toronto Raptors. That's 12 straight wins against the Raptors and a back-and-back because we got the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight at Madison Square Garden. Meanwhile, your Sixers lost by 90 to the Spurs. I guess they're resting up for their big game tonight against the Utah Jazz. Is that who they play tonight?
Yeah, I believe
tonight.
Yeah.
What an absolute clown show you have there in Philadelphia right now. But basketball's not where we start today's show. I've got a bad message for those of you out there that are diehard Dallas Cowboy fans.
Well, why?
Sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
It ain't never going to get better in Dallas, and I got to be the guy to tell you that. The Dallas Cowboys announced within the last, 12 hours or something like that they've restructured Dak Prescott's contract, okay?
Yeah, or less than that, yeah.
Yes, and because they restructured the contract, it's a $47 million cap savings for this upcoming year. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go to overthecap.com and take a look, see how much money the Dallas Cowboys have to spend this year on free agents now that they've restructured Dak Prescott's contract, which is, by the way, to be fair, we knew they were going to tag up Pickens. They did last Friday. We knew at some point they're going to have to restructure contracts like Dak's. So that's a smart, competent move by the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, the Chiefs did it, with Patrick Mahomes. A lot of teams do it with their quarterbacks because that's the biggest nut they got. And the Dallas Cowboys did it with Dak Prescott. How much money do the Dallas Cowboys have under the cap right now to spend on free agents when everything starts next Wednesday? The new, business season
the
of
league
the
year.
NFL, the league year, yeah.
Take
a yes or no?
Now, I know that they allegedly are going to redo Quentin Williams' deal and others, and they have not gotten that done yet.
Today. Dallas Cowboys today. Yeah.
I'm going to guess now with Dak's money, they have about $15 million.
$15 million bucks. So maybe they get one top-end free agent, or maybe they go for two B-plus level free agents based on how they structure contracts. And then if they do Quentin Williams' contract, maybe they get two top-flight free agents or B-plus level free agents. Is that fair?
Off the top of my head, sure.
Off the dome, as we like to say. Where I come from, the mean streets of the Bronx. You couldn't handle the Bronx.
New Rochelle.
Story for another
New
day.
Rochelle, yeah.
I spent many of my formative years in New Rochelle. The Queen City by the Bay. But Manhattan born, Bronx raised, New Rochelle is where I got things done. Another story for another day.
When you graduated 5th grade.
What happened?
When you graduated 5th grade.
When I graduated 5th grade.
Go from 5th to middle school.
Yes.
Where were you living then?
I was in Bronx, and then when I went to New Rochelle, I graduated 6th grade from Roosevelt Elementary School. Then I went to Albert Leonard Junior High School, right around the corner from Willie Mays' house.
Oh, really?
That's right.
All right.
Nice suburb.
All right.
And then, of course, New Rochelle High School, where I was the minority in my graduating class. Not, black and white, handsome. Not a lot of handsome people in my graduating class in high school. I was the minority.
Ugly town.
Ugly town. Yeah, we were founded by French Huguenots. You think there's a lot of good-looking French Huguenots?
No.
A lot of hairy people, but no good-looking French Huguenots.
A lot of back hair.
Oh, dude, back hair. Yeah. The women with the, got dudes in headlocks hair. Oh, yeah, Nancy. In any event, the Dallas Cowboys right now today, and I'm looking at overthecap.com. That's the best website for up-to-the-minute capology stuff. They are $9.6 million over the cap.
Still over.
The Dallas Cowboys can't sign a single free agent the way it stands right now. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, when are Dallas Cowboy fans going to revolt against Jerry Jones? When does that happen? Because in every other city in America, and I think I can make this comment about football for sure, but probably every sport as well. Like you guys in Philadelphia right now are trying to get Harris, owner of the Sixers, to sell out his percentage of ownership because you hate him. Right?
Right now, yes, that is
Jet fans have been trying to get rid of Woody Johnson forever.
Yep.
All right? Go back in the day. You guys wanted Norman Brayman to sell the Eagles.
Badly.
Yes. So you could go to almost every single major sports site in America, and when you have a team that underperforms year after year after year after year, there comes a point, like a watershed moment, when a fan base says, enough's enough, man. It's not the quarterback's fault. It's not the umpteenth coach's fault. It's not the umpteenth general manager's fault. Every city has had this at some level in the last 25 years where we acknowledge it's the owner's fault. How can we make the owner sell the team? Very hard to do and does not happen that often, right? Mm-hmm. I'm wondering out loud, and I love Jerry Jones. I do. Jerry Jones has been my favorite owner for a very, very long time in sports. But again, I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan. So I ask you, Dallas Cowboy fans, when do you revolt? When do you stand up in unison and say, enough is enough and I can't take it anymore? Our problem is our owner.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you got to think about the recent past where Washington and Philadelphia, two teams in the division, were in the conference championship game just
2 years ago.
2 years ago, not
That's
that long ago. And now the Giants, whatever you think about them, just hired a competent person to lead their franchise. Is the breaking point? We know the Eagles have been better than Dallas recently.
And they still are.
Right.
Yes.
We know that Washington was just better. They've fallen back.
Yep.
If the Giants now demonstrate that they're also better, is that finally the moment where we go, now,
I don't know. That's the question. Like, Jerry Jones is in his 80s now.
Yeah.
All right. And it doesn't look like he's selling the team. It's going to be a succession plan where Stephen Jones is going to take over the team. One of the Jones brothers, right?
Not to cut you off. Stephen was all over the combine. He went on with NFL Network. He went on with ESPN. He was the face of the franchise at the combine.
Because here's your reality, Dallas. You're not going to get much better this year. You're just not. Right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you have a successful draft, and I'll give the Cowboys a lot of credit.
They drafted well.
The Dallas Cowboys in the last, I think it's 10 years as a stat now, have drafted more Pro Bowlers than any other franchise in football. Mm-hmm. So their problem is not, scouting college kids. They're actually one of the best teams in the NFL at drafting stars. Mm-hmm. And I give the Dallas Cowboys credit for that. So, yes, Jerry Jones gets some of the respect in overseeing a college scouting department that has done a very, very good job. But you don't win. You never win. And I was trying to think of another franchise in sports where we think of them like they're champions. We talk about them like they're relevant every year. And I can't think of another team that's close to the Dallas Cowboys where the image of the Cowboys, the way we all collectively talk about the Cowboys, you would think would indicate that in the last 30 years, man, they've been to 5 or 6 Super Bowls. Man, every year, even when they were down year, they rebuild real quick, and they're back at it the year after that. This team stinks, and they've stunk for 30 years. And yet we view them and we talk about them like they're relevant. Well, memo to you, Dallas. The only thing that's memorable or relevant about Dallas right now is still the grassy knoll. Because your football team stinks. And it's going to continue to stink.
At what point do the Dallas fans that aren't local, I understand the ones in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they should be Cowboys fans. But all of us know the person with the Dallas, they have their man cave and they have a Dallas jersey, Lakers, Duke, etc.
Front-running weasels.
Right. When do those guys finally bail? Because they haven't.
I'll tell you
those guys haven't bailed yet.
As soon as the Kansas City Chiefs announced that Patrick Mahomes was ready for Labor Day. Because that's where those front runners go. Who's the next great team that I could go root for? Oh, Mahomes is back? Okay. They're going to become Chiefs fans, right?
Right.
But it just dawned on me today because I was reading it, and I knew we all knew that they were going to redo Dak's contract because they had to for cap space. And no joke, redoing his deal opened up $47 million, but not under the cap. They were almost $60 million over the cap before they redid Dak's deal, and they are still right now over the cap.
And what did they wait? A good organization like the Eagles would have got this done already. If you're Quentin Williams, you know what? You got to give me some more guaranteed money for me to redo my deal.
Well, that's the only way to redo the deal.
Right.
You get more guaranteed money. You get up front as a signing bonus.
But what I'm saying is I have leverage now. artificial leverage because you waited to the last minute.
You might.
I don't have to play ball with you. You need to get under the cap.
Yeah.
I'm happy with my contract.
So I don't know why we talk about them like they're relevant or any good. And when do you Dallas fans have some self-respect and say, hey, Jerry Jones, it's enough. We need new blood.
Michigan at a 57% chance right now, followed by Arizona, Duke, and Houston. Here's the interesting caveat, Joe, for Michigan, who's the favorite right now. On February the 8th at 5 a.m., they were trading at 40%. Today, 57%. People like themselves some Michigan here.
Well, Donnie, exactly, because Michigan, it just vaulted themselves to number one in the AP poll.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers record was better, but he's still at James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
There you go. Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. At times, Tyrone, life imitates art.
Yeah.
And when I say art, it could be movies. It could certainly be music as well. Well, as you may know, I'm a big fan of Alicia Keys. All right? I think Alicia Keys is one of the great singers of her generation. As you know, she married Swiss Beats.
Yep, I do know
one of the
that.
top producers
Yep.
of his generation as well. Our kids went to school together for a short period of time. Although I never met her.
Yeah.
I don't claim to know her because I don't. But yes, so I have the connection, if you will, to Alicia Keys, okay?
I actually got in an argument with your son about Alicia Keys in this building.
One of my sons does not think Alicia Keys is as good as I think she is.
Yes.
And then I told him to watch her Grammys performance when she's playing two pianos at the same time and singing a medley of about 15 songs that other people wrote.
Right.
And I'm saying,
she's got to adjust on the fly.
just watch that video.
Right.
And you tell me that she's not crazy talented, not just at singing, but obviously is a penis as well.
Yes.
All right?
He wasn't having it.
He don't know.
He wasn't having it.
That new generation, they don't appreciate great singers like I do, as a matter of fact, okay? So when I say that life imitates art, I want to reference the woman I'm a big fan of, Alicia Keys, okay? Because much like Alicia Keys, I keep on falling in and out of love with you. All right? I fell back in love, Tyrone. I fell back in love. And I think I'm going to tell my kid, my youngest son, who's 15 years old, Anthony Carton, that he should consider enrolling in Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Michigan likes to play this game that they're somewhat holier than thou.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Oh, yeah.
Like they're sanctimonious sometimes. And then I watched what happened with that Sharon Moore, who obviously is their former head coach, who had the affair with, the secretary, whatever the guy was working on the athletic department. Everyone claimed, like, we had no idea that was happening, but everybody knew, right?
Everybody knew.
Well, the Michigan did something dirty, and I got to say I love it. I love it, man.
Okay.
I wish I went to Michigan. That's how much I'm down on Syracuse right now.
Wow.
Okay? Michigan hired away the greatest recruiter that USC has had since Reggie Bush won the Heisman.
Yes.
Okay? Because the Heisman recruits on its own, as you know. Okay?
And Liner, yes.
Okay. So Michigan, despite having a sex scandal on campus with their former head coach and a cheating scandal with their former head coach, right?
Yes.
They did something so dirty. I love it. I love it. And much like Alicia Keys and I sing together in my dreams, of course, I keep on falling in and out of love with Michigan. Yeah.
Now, why? 'Cause
Yes.
You're telling me all this.
I'm telling you something now.
Wow.
Every school in America should take heed of what Michigan did yesterday, and they should follow suit. Now, let me just give you a quick history lesson if I can.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, when Florida and Steve Spurrier had a perennial national championship caliber squad, there was a little secret weapon they had for how they recruited the best high school players in the country to go there.
Yes.
And it was basically hookers. Okay? And these very hot, like 19 to 23-year-old gals who were matriculated at Florida were known as the Gator Getters. You could probably Google it, okay?
Yeah.
And so when a hot prospect, high school prospect, came to campus to visit Florida, Steve Spurrier would make sure that that prospect was greeted and hosted by a gorgeous woman wearing very little clothes. And then they would take those prospects, to fraternity parties and dorm parties and athletic center parties. And many of those guys came back unvirginated. Had they been virgins going into that visit, okay?
Well, I can understand that.
And that's why for a good decade plus, Florida used to get all the top prospects, okay? Now then Tim Tebow came along and he's like, I don't believe in premarital sex, and he killed the whole Gator Getter program.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't believe him, but yes, he said
that's
that.
What he said.
Because that's why, by coincidence, he married Miss Universe.
That's right.
That was just a coincidence.
She didn't believe in premarital sex either.
Yeah, Miss Universe. They just studied the Bible together. Yes.
So Michigan did something that every other major program should take heed of and copy. I keep on falling in and out of love with you.
Okay.
I want you to look up the name Skylar Fan, spelled like the Vietnamese way. P-H-A-N. Matter of fact, that's a picture of Skylar right there.
I see her.
When she used to rock it for Texas, apparently, right?
No, USC.
Yeah, but she's sitting in a Texas Longhorn chair.
Oh, she must have used to be.
So I think she went from Texas.
She was recruiting assistant there.
So she went from Texas, got them Arch Manning, went to USC, got them whoever's good at USC these days, and now Michigan's like, man, we need a director of recruiting strategy here too. Yes. And Michigan has now hired Skylar Fan to be in charge of all of their recruiting strategy. Now, I don't want to be a bad guy.
Because it sounds like you're going to be.
I don't want to be a bad guy.
Are you sure you don't want to be?
Because I'm sure she's a very bright woman.
She also
and well educated.
For the record, she went. She went to Texas.
Yeah.
She worked at. She went to the Raiders, then Texas, North Texas, USC.
And she's a beautiful woman by any account. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
So what do you think happens? What type of people do you think the director of recruiting strategy brings into Michigan now, like she did for Texas, like she did for USC, to make sure a young, virile, 18-year-old, 19-year-old high school graduate who's good enough to play at any D1A school?
Yeah.
Why would that kid now pick Michigan over Ohio State, over Texas, over LSU, over Ole Miss? Oh, I don't know. Because she's ugly? Or because she's hot?
Well, the attractiveness is clearly a role.
You think?
Clearly plays a role. But I'll play devil's advocate.
There's no devil's advocate. There's just the devil.
What if it was just the braid? Because for people that don't know, that don't follow it, USC just signed the #1 recruiting class in all of the country.
Because she was there.
With her in charge.
Right. So she's there. USC gets the #1 recruiting class, and she's like, I've done my work. It's a wrap.
See,
school.
now you know what you just did. Now you know what you
What
just
I did.
did. Now it was one thing to wipe the hands. All right? You went too far. You know what you did.
What did I do?
And I'm sitting here now. I catch the shrapnel.
Right
now
there.
I catch the shrapnel from
Hey,
that.
Syracuse, go find out if she's got a sister. Because it's time to start getting some better athletes in our school. And now I know how to do it.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Michigan at a 57% chance right now, followed by Arizona, Duke, and Houston. Here's the interesting caveat, Joe, for Michigan, who's the favorite right now. On February the 8th at 5 a.m., they were trading at 40%. Today, 57%. People like themselves some Michigan here.
Well, Donnie, exactly, because Michigan, it just vaulted themselves to number one in the AP poll.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. You know, the WNBA gals are fighting to get more money, even though it's a joke that they should get a nickel more than they get because if it's subsidized by the NBA and they lose a fortune every year. That's not the purpose of the story.
Well, that's one side of it. They're also
side of it, but
there's not. They're also negotiating. No, they're also negotiating for when it becomes profitable, what percentage they
also want housing, they want cars, they want
They ain't asked for cars. You made that up.
They want they still want smaller balls. So Ethan could probably help them out with that. But Cameron Brink is one of the more popular gals. I think we talked about her a few weeks back.
Yes.
Cameron Brink, she was going to be in a Playboy?
She said that she would do it if her boyfriend was on board.
And then I asked the question, whoever asked you?
She did the body issue of ESPN and stuff.
Yeah.
And she did SI as well.
If I remember correctly, when Cameron Brink said that she would do Playboy if her boyfriend or fiance said it was okay with him,
that's what
I think I referenced the Chris Rock Rihanna joke at the Oscars or the Grammys that year, whatever it was. When it was the Oscars. That was when Jada Pinkett Smith was boycotting the Oscars. And Chris Rock said, Jada Pinkett Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. Nobody invited me.
Yeah. I do wonder if he regrets that joke after getting slapped.
They're doing a one-on-one sit-down.
They are?
Yes, Will Smith and Chris Rock. I forget what network's got it, but they're doing the one-on-one sit-down. The slap heard round the world. Now, I'll tell you something right now.
Oh, apparently that's not real. That's not real.
I'm going to pretend it's real for a second.
Well, you put us
If Chris Rock,
because we share it online.
If Chris Rock was ever going to do a one-on-one sit-down with Will Smith, and the guys are telling me it's fake, it's not happening.
Well, because if we put it online, they won't. Yeah.
Well, so let me be clear. Apparently, the story that Chris Rock and Will Smith are doing a one-on-one sit-down is a fake story.
Okay.
However,
there you go.
If it were a true story, and I'm Chris Rock, we sit down, and at the very top, I say to Will Smith, Will, before we get started, quick question for you. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap! And then I get up and I roll.
Yeah, well, the problem
That's what
is,
I would do.
That's what you would try to do.
That's what I would try to
the
do.
The problem is
that he was Muhammad Ali.
Right, like he still trains. He still goes into the gyms in California to stay sharp.
Well, in any event, while they may or may not happen, it just reminded me of the great Chris Rock joke about around his panties. So Cameron Brink made the news, and I guess proved that, similar to a lot of her NBA brethren, women basketball players ain't that bright either. All right? Because Cameron Brink said that last season, she decided to try to get her her nutrition right.
Right.
Okay?
She was coming off a ACL tear.
Great.
So, yeah.
And by the way, I respect that. You want to make sure your nutrition's right so you can perform at the highest possible levels in your chosen sport.
Yeah.
So she hired a private chef. Okay? Cameron Brink, that's her words, not mine.
Yeah.
She acknowledged yesterday that the private chef wound up costing her $7,000 a month.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, seems about right.
Well, right.
Private chef.
They
probably
provide
a
the
graduate
food.
of a culinary institute.
And they also go get the food.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but
They do.
No, I don't think the chef pays for the food. I think you pay the chef a salary, and they also have your credit card to buy the food. Pretty sure that's how that works. Like, you don't pay the chef, and out of the chef's income, they also buy you your chicken or your steak or your lobster.
Lobster?
You're a lobster guy.
Yeah, I am, but she's
Matter of fact, I tell you a little secret about Tyrone Johnson. You add lobster to anything, he orders it.
No.
You do. You always have. That's your thing. Oh, lobster mac and cheese. I'll have that. Lobster fries. I'll have that.
Who doesn't want lobster fries?
See?
But the lobster mac is heavy.
Yeah. In any event, let me just get to the bottom of the story. It's a quick 6-minute segment here, okay? So she spent $7,000 a month on a private chef. Her WNBA salary was $6,500 a month, meaning Cameron Brink spent her entire check every month on the private chef and didn't have enough money to cover what the private chef was charging her, meaning no gasoline, meaning no makeup, no clothes, no nothing but the private chef. Her entire salary went to the private chef, and she was $500 in debt every month because she got paid less than what she was paying her private chef. Some people might say, not me, of course, but there are those out there that are saying, good thing she's got a man.
See, that's a cold shot. Now, all right, clip for social. But just to be clear, she also has brand deals with New Balance, Skims, Buick.
Yeah, I thought Skims was for fat girls.
It's not.
No?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, that's Spanx.
Anyway,
My bad.
Celsius,
I apologize.
Urban Outfitters.
Yeah.
So she has endorsements. She's making 7 figures.
She is.
Yeah.
So
just not from basketball.
But her WNBA salary, all of it, and then some to the private chef.
Yes.
I apologize, big girls. I thought Skims was your thing. It's not, and that's on me.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. As you know, college basketball is wrapping up their regular season, and we've got some postseason tournaments already underway, and obviously into the weekend. Just a quick acknowledgement to my buddy Doug Gottlieb, who's out there at Green Bay, who only won 4 games last year and had to suffer the indignity of a lot of people he's criticized on his radio show coming after him and taking shots at him. And Doug said, "You just wait. I'm going to turn this bad boy around." He quit his Fox Sports radio show and concentrated exclusively on being the men's head basketball coach out there at Green Bay. And they won their first conference tournament game in a decade. They're an 18-win team, and it's one of the great turnaround stories in Division I college basketball. So nice job, Doug Gottlieb. Appreciate you. And good job by those kids playing good basketball as well.
Absolutely. And, I give him credit. He always knew the game of basketball, but perhaps his passion was misplaced. It might be placed perfectly as a coach.
I know he's not everybody's favorite guy, but I get along with Doug Gottlieb. And Doug Gottlieb's now an 18-game winner after winning only 4 games last year. It's a great story for those kids out there. I think it's the Horizon League.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I think they're going off to Indy now for the tournament, which they have made. They won a preliminary game in the tournament last night by, I think, 9 points. But that's how I'm going at.
Wow, there's tabloids going on about you all over the internet as the show goes.
I'm sorry?
People are talking about you online. As the show live, as this is happening live, people talk about you in a positive way.
Really?
Stories are going viral.
What did I do?
You're open to breaking bread with people.
I'm open to breaking bread with people?
Yeah.
Who did I say I'd break bread with?
You would break bread with Mike Francesa.
Yeah, I've always said that.
Well,
that became a news story?
Yeah. During the show today. I'm dead serious.
I said it yesterday.
Well, now it's a story today. It's going this show is big.
There you go.
People talk about it all over the country.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess I'll address that later. If you'd like me to.
I think you probably have to.
Because not everybody watching knows who Mike Francesa is.
Yeah.
He was a colleague of mine, and he and I don't like each other. I did mornings at WFN. He did afternoons. And we don't like each other. Quite publicly. He don't like me. I don't like him. But I've told people a million times, if you ever want to get lunch, I'd have lunch with him.
So look at that.
Yeah.
Look at you. You get along with Doug Gottlieb. A lot of people don't like
That's
you.
right.
You're willing to break bread with him. Look at you. This is the new Craig Carton, everybody. The new Craig Carton.
The last time and the only time he and I had a meal together, it was myself, Mike Francesa, and Mark Chernoff, the program director of WFAN. And we, on a summer day, rainy day, we had lunch at a Greek diner in Astoria, Queens, called the Cup Diner.
Okay.
And this is right before I started hosting the morning show at WFAN.
Oh, so this
and
going
Mike
back
Francesa came into that diner wearing sunglasses indoors and sat there for the entire lunch and never took the sunglasses off and was very disrespectful during that lunch. And I've not liked him since.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that story.
But if he's buying lunch, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in, man.
All right.
You want to bury a hatchet? Buy me lunch. And we'll figure things out.
Oh.
But it may not go the way you want it to go. So I don't know who's reporting that story from yesterday, but I'm very popular, as those of you who are now finding out.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's happening during the show
Matter
live.
of fact, this show has now done over 250 million views on social media. It's something we're very proud of. So I'll keep doing what I do. Tyrone will keep doing what he does. You keep watching. We'll make your life very easy. Just go on Instagram and watch us. Make you laugh, make you happy. All right, now let me get back to college basketball, as you know.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for interrupting me with that breaking news. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm just saying.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, here's the deal. This is the week when we celebrate seniors, okay? When a mom and a dad or, a loved one gets to go out there, they watch their son, their nephew, their whomever, get to celebrate their final home game as a senior for respective schools.
Flowers are usually involved.
Yes.
And the seniors usually get, even if they're not in the rotation, they almost always get to play.
Let's just pick a random conference. Let's pick the SEC.
Okay.
Probably the best pound-for-pound sports conference in all sports in America, okay?
Yeah.
How many kids in the SEC conference this year got to celebrate Senior Day having played their entire college basketball careers for only one team?
All right, look at that. You're talking about 16 schools.
Yep.
The transfer portal is big now, but 16 schools.
Figure 15 kids on every squad.
Right.
Okay, so 15 times 16 is what? Nobody here knows.
Well, not
Doesn't
off
matter.
the top, but
few hundred kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to say.
So of all those kids that are graduating seniors or fifth-year seniors, because that counts as well, who are going to get the moment before the game with their moms and grandmoms and dads and brothers and sisters and the bouquet of roses, how many kids in the SEC are graduating seniors having only played for the team that they are now going to, and the school that they are now going to graduate from?
I'm going to say with 16 schools, and I'm aware of the transfer portal, I'm going to say that in other years there might have been 20 or 30, but this year, 10.
10. Okay, so you think there's 10 seniors, fourth-year or fifth-year seniors, that have played their entire basketball career for the school that they are now graduating from in a couple months.
That's right.
Okay. Lower, Bob.
Okay, 10. All right. I'm going to go every other school. I'm going to go down to 8.
8.
Meaning half the schools have 8
So
seniors.
one kid on half the team.
Yeah.
Lower, Bob.
All right. Let's go with a starting 5 of seniors. 5.
5.
Yeah.
Lower, Bob.
4.
Lower, Bob.
3.
Lower, Bob.
2.
Lower, Bob.
It's not 0, right?
1.
Okay.
So out of the 200-plus kids that play college basketball in the SEC, and of those kids, however many handful of them are now fourth or fifth year graduating seniors, there's only one kid in the entirety of the SEC that is graduating from the only school he was ever matriculated into. One. Let me go to another conference.
Yeah.
Let's go to the ACC.
Okay.
Maryland, Syracuse, North Carolina, Duke, et cetera, et cetera. Now you figure a school like Duke has a lot of kids that stay and graduate from Duke. So in the ACC, how many kids are graduating having only played for one school?
All right, so now you're talking about 18 schools. So I'm going to go.
So more kids.
More kids.
Yeah.
But that number informs me some. So I'm going to come in lower, and I'm going to start with 8.
8.
8 out of 18 feels very reasonable.
How about 3?
Wow.
3. Let's go to the Big East.
Okay.
3.
Wow.
Let's go to the Big 12. 5.
Okay.
And if you go to the Big 10, so I'm fair about this, they've got the most, 10.
They've had, now I'm looking it up, they had less coach turnover.
Okay.
Like Calipari, for example, goes from one SEC school to another
That's
in
fair.
this cycle.
Yes. So, but here's like, doesn't anybody find that to be problematic? Now, I know the kids that go pro don't stay.
Right.
But the far majority of kids don't go pro.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So how do you explain that this is good for basketball, good for, college sports, where out of 18 schools, for example, in the ACC, 16 schools, as you said, in the SEC, combined, that's 34 colleges. 34 colleges, 15 kids on every roster. So you're talking about 500 some odd kids. And 4 of them are going to graduate having only played for a single school.
It's not.
Don't you think that's a problem?
It's a problem, but it's a two-sided problem. You can look at it a couple of ways. You can look at the player side of it completely, or you can look at the coach side of it.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is the coach doesn't have to take on all these recruits. He can have his guys and have his guys and ride out with some of them and pay them to stay.
And this is not about the kids that go pro, because very few go pro.
No, I'm talking about this is the guys, and these guys aren't breaking the bank with money either.
Right.
So you could keep your guys, but the coaches don't have the discipline to not go searching.
Okay.
And then the players are getting those offers, so they're going to take them.
The only pushback on that I give you is that, basketball in the last couple of years in these major conferences, there's not been as much turnover as you might think based on what we read about college football. a lot of these coaches actually stayed at the school
No, I'm not talking
for
about
at least 4 years.
No, I'm not talking about the coaches have a wandering eye for themselves. I'm saying that a guy's coaching Kentucky.
Yeah.
He's looking at the Arkansas player going, I want him. They don't have to do that, but they do. And they poach each other's
Yeah,
kids.
that's true. There's poaching both ways.
And they don't have to do it.
Yes, all right, so I got your point. It's not that coaches are leaving because they're not, as much as you might think they are. But I saw that stat this morning. I'm like, that's crazy that of all the seniors in the SEC, only one of them is going to graduate or play his last home game for the only school he's ever represented. That seems like it's a problem. I don't know. It's a problem.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too, and what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago? How much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Michigan at a 57% chance right now, followed by Arizona, Duke, and Houston. Here's the interesting caveat, Joe, for Michigan, who's the favorite right now. On February the 8th at 5 a.m., they were trading at 40%. Today, 57%. People like themselves some Michigan here.
Well, Donnie, exactly, because Michigan, it just vaulted themselves to number one in the AP poll.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. You know, as a diehard Knicks fan, I'm sure I'll do much more of this later today on the radio. I get sick and tired of people talking about how, if Tom Thibodeau were the coach of the Knicks wouldn't have lost to the Detroit Pistons, and Mike Brown can't coach, and on and on and on. Mm-hmm. Tom Thibodeau did a good job here. Not a great job, a good job.
Good job.
And he did get to the Knicks to their first Eastern Conference final in a very, very long time, and I have nothing but appreciation for his tenure here as Knicks head coach. He did a good job with the Knicks. But every day, I got to hear about how Tom Thibodeau wouldn't have done that. Well, let me tell you something Tom Thibodeau didn't do that Mike Brown has done. And I'm not saying Mike Brown's the greatest coach in the world. I don't think he is. But the Knicks story's not going to be told until the postseason and how far they go. And do they get back to the ECF, or do they get past that and get to the first NBA Finals in over 30-some-odd years, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's see how you do against good teams, okay? So this is a stat I saw online this morning. If you look at the Knicks last year against the top 6 teams in both conferences, right? So the top 6 teams in the East, the top 6 teams in the West, okay? Last year, with Tom Thibodeau as their head coach, the New York Knicks, out of 30 games, you want to take a guess?
I'm going to say right around 500.
Okay.
15 and 15.
15 and 15?
Yeah.
Okay. How about 30 games in? They were 10 and 20.
Oh, wow.
Against the better team.
Yeah, against the better team.
In both conferences.
Wow.
So despite the fact they did win 50 games last year, it stands to reason they beat up on bad teams. Mm-hmm. And by the way, You should beat up on bad teams, but they were 10 games under 500 after 30 against the top 6 teams in both conferences, okay?
Okay.
So for those of you out there like, oh, Tom Thibodeau, Mike Brown can't carry Tom Thibodeau's jock, blah, blah, blah. And I've tried to push back to that narrative as often as I can. The Knicks this year, and obviously we still got a month to go, have played 25 games against the top 6 teams in both conferences. Do you want to hazard a guess what their record is?
How many games again?
25 games.
25 games.
Yep.
I'm going to guess that they're, let's say 13-12.
So about 500.
About.
Okay? The New York Knicks this year, after last night's win against Toronto, which is actually a good win, I'll explain why in a second, are 16-9.
It's good.
16-9 against the top 6 teams in both conferences. Last year, they were 10 games under 500. This year, they're already 7 games over 500. And tonight against the Thunder at the Garden, they can make that 17-9. Obviously going to be a tough game. Last night's game shook me in a good way. The Knicks have the Thunder tonight. Going into last night's game, the Knicks had beaten the Raptors 11 consecutive times and are 3-0 against them this year. And the game's not always that competitive, okay? So I'm looking at that game yesterday going, that's interesting. The Raptors, by the way, with a bunch of ex-Knicks still on the roster like R.J. Barrett, et cetera, they're 10 games over 500 going into last night's game. They're at home, and the Knicks have the Thunder tonight, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at that, and I said, the Knicks are only favored in that game last night by 2.5 points. So on my radio show, I was encouraging people not to gamble on the Knicks last night. I said, I know it looks enticing. The Knicks have won a couple games in a row. The Knicks feel like they're getting back into the groove right now. And I said, I just don't like the game because we've owned the Raptors and we've got the Thunder tonight, Wednesday night. Now, I couldn't have been more wrong. The Knicks won that game almost wire to wire last night. And there were moments where Toronto did make it a one-possession game late in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks took over and won the game quite handily. That's the type of win that makes me think you better not sleep on these Knicks. Now, no guarantees tonight. They're playing against the best team in the Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be a very tough game against a damn good basketball team, right? Yeah. And SGA's back now. That being said, when you win a game like last night, which is an obvious trap game, look-ahead game, and you win, and for those of you that did gamble on it, good for you. I didn't think you should have. If you did it anyway, great for you. I got it wrong. That's the type of game that championship teams win the way the Knicks won it. And I love what they did last night.
Yeah, the thing about the Knicks that's going to be telling is we know how good they can be.
Yes, champions.
We know how good they can be.
Champions.
The question is...
Yeah, champions.
Well, you're saying that as a fan. The Pistons have been better this year, both head-to-head and overall.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an unexpected thing.
So were the Celtics last year.
Right, but the difference is you can't use that every year because if that's the case, why not load manage guys and just save them for the playoffs? The regular season has to matter, Craig.
Yes.
So we can't just dismiss it.
No, it does. I want to be the 2 seed. I'm with you.
We can't just dismiss it.
And we're a game and a half back of Boston right now for the 2 seed.
Right, so that's something to watch. And you definitely don't want to get anywhere near 4 because then you play the Pistons earlier.
That's right.
Which you do not want to do.
I'd have to play them in the semis, not in the finals.
Yeah, you want to play them in the conference finals.
I know Tatum's coming back, maybe even on Friday this week.
Yeah, a couple days.
Against the Dallas Mavericks. That's not confirmed, but he's definitely coming back. Whether or not it's Friday or next week, we're going to find out. If we do have to play the Celtics in the semis, I want Game 7 at the Garden.
Absolutely.
My Garden.
Right.
The only Garden. The original Garden.
But
the Mecca. Not that dumped in Boston.
The question's going to be the consistency while playing guys a reasonable amount of minutes, which is what they've done and they've committed to this year.
And Mitchell Robinson did hurt that left ankle again last night.
It's huge for you guys.
And that's the ankle he's had multiple surgeries on, which is why they've only played him about 20 minutes a game. And I hate it. I want to be clear. I do not defend the Knicks doing this. I can't stand it. But that dude ain't playing tonight. Regardless of the ankle, they don't play him back-to-back.
But I understand you don't like it. I understand you hate it. But if you have the parade for the first time in 50 years,
I'm in it.
You'll be like, well, it was smart. Mitchell Robinson has 8 offensive rebounds in a Game 7 for the championship.
Did you see the stat that based on 36 minutes, which is a well-known NBA stat, not to everybody, but to most people, they try to extrapolate what would your stats be based on a 36-minute performance, because that's the average amount of time starters essentially play in the NBA.
Yeah.
That based on 36 minutes this year, Mitchell Robinson is the greatest offensive rebounder in the history of basketball, meaning better numbers than Wilt,
right?
Better numbers
Bill
than
Russell, Wes
Dennis
Unseld,
Rodman,
right?
Than Barkley,
right?
Than Russell. And again, it's extrapolated, but it's a well-known, accepted.
But Moses Malone
stat.
used to get offensive rebounds to himself. He wasn't in a position. He throw it off the glass, grab it back. That was like his move.
He was like the original Angel Reese.
He would do it on purpose.
Stat padding, yes.
On purpose.
That's also true.
It was on
That's
purpose.
true. So here's my point. When you win a game like the Knicks won last night, a trap situation, that's the type of game that makes guys like me say, we're winning a title this year. Get ready for it.
Michigan at a 57% chance right now, followed by Arizona, Duke, and Houston. Here's the interesting caveat, Joe, for Michigan, who's the favorite right now. On February the 8th at 5 a.m., they were trading at 40%. Today, 57%. People like themselves some Michigan here.
Well, Donnie, exactly, because Michigan, it just vaulted themselves to number one in the AP poll.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. You saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. We got some breaking NFL news, including a Pro Bowl cornerback on the move out of Kansas City. Trent McDuffie, Tyrone, you've got the news?
Yes, he's traded to the Rams, and the return is going to include the 29th overall pick in the draft.
First-round pick.
First-round pick. Apparently, there's going to be more because I think these guys are trying not to get caught with their pants down. There could be conditional side things happen on either side, but first-round pick 29, goes to the Chiefs. The Chiefs now have a couple firsts. The Rams are all in, and the Chiefs believe, and their philosophy is they're a cornerback factory. After they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl,
he's a Pro Bowl cornerback.
Yeah, but they parted with two parts of their secondary after that. They believe with Spags and their development, they can find guys and develop and make another cornerback guy, top corner. I don't always buy that philosophy, but that's the Chiefs' philosophy.
So Trent McDuffie was going to enter his fifth year guaranteed salary of $13 million and change. So by shedding that salary in the trade, they now get under the cap.
They get under the cap
by about $6 or $7 million. Right. So it's going to be the 29th overall pick, which is a first-round pick in the upcoming draft.
There's going to be more.
And then Trent McDuffie obviously will sign, I'm sure, a long-term extension for the Rams.
And that's the rub. The Chiefs did not have the money to sign the extension that he was looking for.
I'm trying to be objective about this. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I hate this trade.
I agree.
Because Trent McDuffie, is it fair for me to say their best defensive back?
Yes.
That's, I think, a fair statement
It's a
for you
fact.
to make.
It's a fact.
So how did you get better? You got worse today. Now, again, right now, the 29th pick is a number. It's not a human being. It's not a player yet. We don't know who they're going to take. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They get the best player available here at 29, whatever position that might be. But I'm looking at it saying to myself, if you're a Chiefs fan, all right, yes, you got to get under the cap by Wednesday. So now they're under the cap. But at the price of your best defensive back?
Yes, I agree.
And to be fair, the Raiders are getting a quarterback.
Yes.
Okay? The Broncos have a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Chargers have a quarterback.
Yeah.
They throw the ball, all those teams, better than they run the ball. Raiders is a question mark because
Well, the
who knows
Chargers,
about Mendoza.
Chargers are run first, but I get you.
But their best player is the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I know Harbaugh likes to run the ball. I'm with you on that. Why would you hurt your passing game in that manner by getting rid of your best defensive back? I don't get that.
Well, that's the one side of it.
Yes.
The other side is they now have pick 9 and 29 in the first round.
So you could get top 5?
But no, not that. They haven't blocked very well the last couple years. The Eagles kicked their ass because they couldn't block, and last year they couldn't block. And while the defense, you can, with Spags, who stayed, you can still have a good defense even without him. Maybe not as good, but good.
So let me ask you a question.
But if you get 2 offensive linemen, a starting tackle and a starting guard, to protect your quarterback, and now Mahomes is Mahomes, in my opinion, then it would be worse.
That also means that 2/5 of your offensive line are rookies, and your left tackle's a second-year bust.
I don't think you're only doing things based on this year, though.
So
you
let me
can't
ask you a
look at it in the moment.
Let me give you, I don't like doing fake trades, but since it's my team, I'm going to throw it out there. So you said they're drafting, what'd you say, 9th?
9th and 29th.
9th and 29th. Would you give the Jets those 2 picks for number 2?
If I'm the Chiefs, it depends on who they want.
Go get the stud linebacker. Styles, is that his name, out of Ohio State?
No, I don't. I can call the Giants. I don't need to give up as much, and I can get the 5 and get Styles. I don't need to get the 2 to get Styles.
Would you give the 9th and a second-round pick to go to 5? And the Giants then get an extra second-round pick, move down 4 spots to 9.
Maybe.
Okay?
Maybe.
They still get a stud defensive player.
They end up taking the safety from Ohio State.
Or
Downs at 9.
the New York Giants also are rumored to be in love with trying to find a running back for John Harbaugh. They've got Scadaboo coming back off the injury and Tracy coming back, who's an average running back, but decent.
So you got to take the best player of the draft, Jeremiah Love, there.
Right, but they're not going to take him at 5.
But the problem is he might go to 8 to the Saints. So you have to do your intel.
Okay.
You have to do your intel. Yes, if I'm the Giants, I do that.
No, I want you to flip that. If you're the Chiefs, do you do that?
Yes, unless my goal's offensive line.
So I'm going to give you 2 offers. You tell me if you take either one of these. You give me the 9 and the 29. I give you the Jets 2.
I don't do
Or
that.
you give me the 9 and your second-round pick. I'm not sure where it is, top of my head. And I'll give you the 5. Do you do either of those trades? So that way, if you do the Giant trade, you get 5 and 29. Okay, you give up the 9, obviously. If you do the Jet trade, you get the 2, but it's your only first-round pick.
Honestly, I probably don't do either. The chart would say
I would do the 5 and 29.
The chart would say that's too much.
I don't know about the chart.
Teams go by. You know the teams go by a chart when they make
it's
those draft day
stupid.
trades.
I go by my gut. It has always served me well. I also have a 36 waist now. I got to cut back a little bit on that. Trying to get back down to a svelte 32, but I'm inches and inches and inches away. I'm inches away. I'm trying to get there, Tyrone, but I'm inches and inches away. And lots of football talk tomorrow as well. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you, and have yourselves a blessed day.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.